It is always a pleasure for us to come together to talk about teacher issues in Africa and to promote the first objective of the Continental Education Strategy for Africa. So welcome, colleagues. Before we proceed, we would like to adopt the agenda. The agenda is before you. Are there any observations or proposals for any additions to the agenda or changes to the agenda? Please put up your hand if you have a suggestion to modify the agenda before adopted. No, I don't see any hand. Just in case the hand is hidden, feel free to come in if you have a proposal to modify the agenda. Okay, in the absence of any proposed amendments to the agenda, I would like to request someone to propose or move the adoption of the agenda. Anybody? Yes, Cole. I see your picture. You're probably proposing or moving the adoption of the agenda.
Okay.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Any seconder? Chimanga, I can see your face. I hope you're seconding. Thank you very much. So the agenda is adopted. Yes, colleagues, coming back to the agenda. First of all, let's remember that if we're not speaking, let's mute. That will really help to avoid background noise, but also the problem of any echo that might happen. If for any reason we experience connectivity challenges, we would encourage everyone to switch off their video. But if everything is okay, there's no problem. Yes, if we face any connectivity challenges, let's switch off our videos. Otherwise, for now, it's okay. The agenda has been adopted. I would like to check Dr. Yumiko before we proceed by way of introductions, if there's anything you may want to say.
No, no, but I would like to add my voice to you and Hungi to thank everyone for participating. Thank you.
I don't hear from you, Dr. Yumiko.
Oh, sorry. Can you hear me now?
Signal that. So, hello? Colleagues, we would like to quickly introduce ourselves so that we know who is in the call.
Dennis.
If possible, you can turn on your video as you introduce yourself so that we see your face, at least. Just briefly, who you are, which organization or country you represent. As I've already said, I'm Dennis Nyolo from Education International Africa. I'm the director of EI in Africa. Previously, I was in charge of Education International's global policy and research area. We would like to proceed, Hungi, because I can see your face.
Yes,
so
yes.
Please.
Can you hear me?
Yourself.
Dennis, can you hear me?
Sorry, we can't hear you. I'm not sure if your mic is on.
It is actually on. Hello.
That's okay. Yes.
Excuse me, Dr. Dennis, we can hear you. And also Dr. Hungi,
sure.
We can hear both of you.
Okay. Oh, thank you. I think the problem was on my side. Dr. Hungi,
oh, it's on your side. Okay, because I thought Yumiko was also trying to speak and we could hear her, but not you. So maybe I will give this chance to you. I'll give this
my
chance
apologies,
to
Dr. Yumiko. Yes, I had problems on my side. We have lost power, actually. We're using a generator. That's probably the reason why. Dr. Yumiko, please.
Thank you very much, Dr. Comrade Dennis, or just Dennis or Yumiko. Anyway, thank you very much. I just wanted to add my voice to you and participating in a busy schedule. Thank you very much This confirms your commitment and engagement, and also the importance of teacher development in CESA. Thank you very
much. Dr. Yumiko, we really appreciate your coordination and all the background work that you and your colleagues, Ungi and others do. Thank you so much. Ungi, please, back to you. You are muted.
Sorry. Okay, my name is Njora Hungi. I'm with Ikiba. And of course, I'm here with Kevin, who will be introducing herself. She has done all the work that you see, all the documents that you see being produced. She helps a lot, and she's the one who actually driving the process. So thank you so much, Kevin, and also Dennis and Yomiko for, and also Professor Steve for all the comments and assistance, and everybody else. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You have mentioned Kevin, so Kevin, you can just come in.
Yes, thank you, Kesley. Thank you, Hungi. I'm Kevin Ingamiye, and I'm an intern at ICBA. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Allow me just to follow the names I can see on my screen, if that's okay. I may not be able to identify everyone or to pronounce your name correctly. Forgive me if I mispronounce your name. Chimanga, please.
Thank you, Dennis. My name is Chimanga Mukadimutoke. I'm a senior advisor, partnership and the resource mobilization at CAFO. Thank you.
Thank you so much. If you have your CAFO colleagues, I think they can come in next. Just come in, colleagues, if you're from CAFO.
Okay, I'm Lawali Cole. I'm the executive director of CAFO. Based here in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hello, everyone. I'm Hema, working for CAFO as well. I'm working as regional program officer, and I'm working from Nairobi. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we move on, we continue with introductions. I'm afraid those are the only names I can see on my screen. Let me see if I can find other names. The rest of the colleagues, please come in if you haven't introduced yourself. Anybody else?
Yeah. I'm Gertrude Namubiru. The Secretary General African Curriculum Association and Coordinator Representative CESA Curriculum Cluster.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Next, please just come in, colleagues.
Okay, maybe I can come in. I'm also from African Curriculum Association. My name is Maurice Nkusi. I'm currently working at the Namibia University of Science and Technology. And yeah, I'm happy to be a part of this meeting. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else?
Good afternoon from Addis Ababa. My name is Kesley Olabode Stevens. I'm the Policy Officer Education Division, and I'm the focal point for teacher development at the AUC. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Kesley. We really appreciate the leadership of the AUC and all the support you're giving us. Next, please. Anybody else?
Yeah, can I speak now? Please. My name is Steve. Yeah, can I go on?
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, my name is Steve, Professor Steve Nwokocha, the ED of AFTRA, Africa Federation of Teaching Regulatory Authorities. And I have one or two of my staff also supporting on this meeting. Please, if you're from AFTRA, you can introduce yourself. You can say your name.
Anybody else from AFTRA?
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
That's it, yeah. Yeah, thank you very much. We've had you.
Okay. Thanks, Professor Steve. Thanks. Anybody else?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, please do.
My name is Frecia Kago. I'm representing FAWE, the Advocacy and Partnerships Officer.
Thank you so much. Anybody else? Now, I suppose everyone has introduced themselves. If for any reason you haven't, you can introduce yourself as you contribute to the agenda. Let's continue, colleagues, with our meeting, with our agenda. As you will note, it's a very rich agenda. We will get a report on the outcomes of the intercluster meeting from ICPA, and then ICPA will also lead us on a discussion of a proposal concerning World Teachers' Day 2021, what we could potentially do together. And then we will move on to the recruitment of champion countries, and then look at the continental teacher mobility protocol here from the AUC. And then we will have brief updates from the various organizations and countries and institutions. Just to note that when we come to the update, please touch on what is new. If you covered something in the previous meeting, let's not repeat it because of the pressure of time as well. ICPA will capture the new developments. We will see how we're doing in terms of the agenda. If there is pressure on the agenda, we will reduce the time. Otherwise, take 2 or 3 minutes, maximum 5 minutes to highlight the updates from your institution or organization or country. We will now proceed right away to the outputs from the intercluster meeting. Dr. Hungi, is it you or somebody else? Over to you.
Yeah, that is me. Before, it's just a small report. Before we proceed, maybe we could have a group photo. It's usually a good idea so that we have it in record somewhere, as part of our report. And also I have pasted on the chat the link to where you can get the documents for what happened last time during our last meeting. The progress report, the minutes, and everything else you'll find there, including the criteria for recruitment of champion country. I hope you can see that. So if you agree with me, Chair, maybe we could ask members to switch on their cameras, and then we take a group photo before we proceed to the next session. Quickly.
Yeah, sure. Let's do that, colleagues, just briefly.
And Henok will help us. Henok will help us take the photo. Henok is okay?
Dr. Hungi, I think we need to have, I don't know, let me try with my mobile, I can.
It's okay.
Henok.
I can, yes,
okay.
I'm ready, yes.
Are you able to see all of us?
The presentation, Kevin, can you stop the presentation?
Yeah, for a short while, yes. Then after that, you can get it back.
Yes. Okay. Two more people, Maria and Gertrude.
Gertrude is here.
Yeah, yes. Maria, if you can switch on your camera.
Okay.
Please alert us when you're done.
Yes.
Yeah.
So on 3, 1, 2, 3. Yes. One more, please.
One more?
Okay. Yes.
Okay.
1, 2, 3.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, Enoch.
Thank you.
Yeah, these photos become very handful, I mean, useful when you're compiling the reports, and they make the report to look more complete. So thank you so much. We are still expecting more members to come to join, because as per our registration, we have 20 people registered. So we have 15 now. So we are still expecting another 5 to join us. So anyway, let us go to the agenda point where I was supposed to update you on what happened during the intercluster meeting, which was held on 29 April 2021. That was 2 days after we had our last meeting. Briefly, very briefly, the AUC emphasized the critical importance of clusters as the pathway to operationalization of CESA, and also they emphasized the need of AUC representatives to be present during any cluster meeting actually. And also, sorry, they also emphasize ensuring continuity of learning based on DOTS model, the DOTS model, DOTSS model, where the D stands for digital connectivity, O for online and offline learning, T for teacher as facilitators and motivators of learning. The first S as safety online and in school. And the other one, the last S as skills focused learning. We also, something which came out very clearly from that meeting was that some clusters, they are quite huge, and they have tried to reorganize themselves in terms of, huge in terms of membership, and they've tried to establish, to reorganize themselves in terms of thematic areas, so that we have sub-clusters within the cluster, and maybe that's something we could have a look at as we proceed in future for the teacher cluster. So as far as our cluster is concerned, we were able to present our achievement. We said that our cluster has got 18 active members. Some are a bit more active than others, but we have 18, and we have a diversity of members. We have government agencies, we have regional economic communities, we have international NGOs, UN agencies, and so on. And that's a good mix, and is a plus for us in terms of achievement. And we also mentioned that we have regular meetings. In particular, we have 4 scheduled meetings per year. For this year, we have already, this is the third meeting, we have 1 more to go. So we mentioned that, and that worked well for us. Is a positive for us. In terms of performance, the cluster has initiated, of course, was initiated to create awareness and ownership of. The cluster has initiatives to create awareness and ownership of its public goods among members, and to promote teacher professionalism in Africa. So, and also the cluster has continued to provide technical support to specific member countries. We mentioned that some of the activities that we have done to help, for example, Uganda to establish national, that was work done with led by IKIBA to help Uganda to establish National Council of Teachers, and that's ongoing work. And also other activities that we picked actually from the progress report, and we were able to report that, and came out quite well about our cluster. We also mentioned the cluster challenges. For example, we said that we don't have participation of an active member state, and we mentioned that we are in the process of trying to recruit member state to be part of us. We also mentioned that we mobilize the resources, and that was common for all the other clusters, not only our cluster. And we also said that we are, by holding regular meetings, and we have managed to make the cluster more active. So those are some of the things that we reported. There is a report that we shared with you, and we can still share with you, on what transpired during that meeting, but generally that's a brief of what happened. I'll get back to Dennis in case the members have questions or comments.
Yes, thank you very much. Now you have covered the main highlights very well. Let me just check from colleagues if anybody has a question or comment. Please come in because I may not see your hand, or just put up your hand. No, I don't see any hands. So thank you so much once again, Dr. Hungi, and your colleagues at ICPA for compiling the report and presenting it on our behalf. We really, really appreciate that. And let's continue, colleagues, as we're going to report today, keeping that information flowing so that we're aware of what's going on and we can share with others. We will straight away then move on to the next item on World Teachers' Day. Dr. Hungi.
Yeah, for this one, I'll ask my colleague to project the proposal that we shared with you the other day. Is it yesterday or 2 days ago? Do you have that one with you, Kevin?
Yes, I'm sharing it.
Sharing it. We already received comments from members, including this morning from FAWE. So we shall consider all that. Even before we have it projected, I can give you an overview. The World Teacher Day is happening in October. I think it's 5th of October. And as Teacher Development Cluster, we thought we should take a leading role together with AUC to at least provide an event to showcase what is happening in teacher development. And we thought maybe the big story at the moment is, of course, COVID and post-COVID, what has happened, what has affected what are the new developments as far as teacher professional development is concerned. And I thought we could have a panel. We thought, we thought that we could have, we had a discussion. This one, even AUC has contributed already, and also my colleagues from IKIBA, and I think we also had the comments from AFTRA and also Education International and others. So that is the general idea. We want to focus on what is happening on teacher development, and especially given the COVID crisis. So we thought the subtitle, the title for the event, maybe before we go down, subtitle is okay. We thought we could have as the theme of course is the teacher leading in crisis. I was told that this was the same for last year, and maybe it might change. I'm not sure whether it will change or not. Maybe I will hear from Mr. Stevens on that. The sub-theme, we thought we borrow from the CESA goal one. We can see the sub-theme is very similar to what prioritizing teaching profession to ensure quality and relevance amidst COVID-19 pandemic. Of course, this is up to discussion as we are presenting it here. And then you can scroll down a little. Kevin, maybe you can magnify a little. I don't know. Are you able to magnify a little? Or I could magnify from my end. Okay. I think that's okay. Of course, the background is there. The assumption that we have already gone through it, and we go direct to the purpose. We want to bring policymakers. That is the idea. We want a discussion forum. Maybe the word webinar has been overused, but now because it's a virtual one, maybe you can still use webinar. But maybe we could also consider like a discussion forum or something like that, where we have policymakers telling us what is happening, what is changing, what has changed, or what are the new policies that are coming up, on teacher development matters that are related, that have come up because of the pandemic. And then we could have one or two, I mean, two people or two senior people from two different countries in the part of the panel. We ask them questions and they answer the questions. We are thinking that maybe presentation may not work well. It's better if we have more focused questions so that it looks different from our webinar. So we ask them questions. We could prepare the questions and give them in advance. So they give us specific answers to those questions. Answering, I mean, which would be more, maybe better use of time than just presenting. We are not ruling presenting also, which is open. We could also have in the same panel teachers, and they could tell us, that is B part now, B, where the teachers could tell us what are they doing? How are they finding it? How are they equipping themselves with what kind of skills are they learning so that they can now fit into the new norm? The hybrid teaching has been mentioned many times as hybrid teaching and learning. How are they doing it? What skills? What skills are they finding themselves acquiring or needing to acquire to do that? So that could be the B part of it. So the teachers will be there and they could be, we are thinking of an ECD and teachers at three levels. At ECE level, that early learning level, then at primary and secondary. Of course, this is a proposal. We can always agree on that. Then we could, the C part is, oh, Kevin, you have gone. I wanted the C part. Also, another issue that have come up a lot during the COVID crisis, or during this COVID crisis, is formative assessment. How are the teachers doing formative assessment of the e-learning or the hybrid teaching and learning that's going on? Maybe the teachers can tell us about that, or how they are going about it, and that could also be useful information. We're also thinking of maybe we could also have parents or one or two parents in the group to tell us how are they finding. We know that parental involvement is very important in education, and now we have had parents have become almost like teachers. How is this one shaping teacher professional development? We can have a view from the parent and also from the teacher view. How parental interaction affecting their professional development. And this morning we also had a proposal from FAWE. They say that we could also think of having the students, maybe the youth there, and also they could tell us how their interaction with the teachers maybe could be affecting teacher development. Of course, this is open for discussion. So that is a proposal, and over to you, Dennis, and open it up for members to say, give their views.
Yes, thank you so much, Ungi. And thanks for taking the initiative, actually. So it's vitally important that we organize a joint event on World Teachers Day. And actually, yes,
yeah, we started thinking about this one. I think it was yesterday morning with my colleagues, three of my colleagues, and then Kasley came almost like I was writing the story, and then he came also with the same story. So AUC is also involved in this very actively. And
fantastic, fantastic. Thank you so much. Colleagues, will now open up for questions, comments, suggestions. I have a few comments myself, but let me reserve them for now so that we hear from you first. Anybody? Please put up your hand or simply come in if you cannot put up your hand. You can use the reactions function and click on the hand sign. I don't see any hands. Would someone want to come in, please? comments, questions?
Yes. May I
Yes,
comment?
please. Yes, please do.
Yeah. I'm just wondering, why is it that in the program we have only East Africa and SADC talking about regional initiatives? There are quite a number of initiatives also in Western Africa that are going on, which I think we need to know about. Maybe Steve can help us, you know what's happening in Nigeria, for instance, a big country. And it's good to have SADC and the EAC. But again, I think a very, very big block here is the West African bloc also, where you have both Francophone and Anglophone countries, West Africa, the ECOWAS bloc. Maybe we should get somebody to give us a bit of a taste of what is happening in that particular region. Because I mean, SADC is very close to East Africa, so it's like we are talking about one block alone, but West Africa is the other side of the continent. So it will be good for us to know what is happening. Maybe Nigeria or some other country, Ghana, for instance. Somebody can give us just an overview of the initiatives when it comes to teacher development in that particular region. Thank you.
Thank you very much. That's a very important observation. Hongi, do you want to respond?
Yeah, I would like to, as I said, this is open. Initially we thought we would have an English-speaking only forum. Then, after discussion with the AUC, we agreed that it's better to have English and also French. We can invite speakers from both regions, and then it will open up. So that maybe when we were developing the concept note, we had thought about the English only. Of course, we can, spread it so that we can have maybe SADC and another from the eastern side, and western side, we have another one. So that way we have a balance. That is okay with us, I think so, unless Kasley has got another view. Mr. Stevens.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dr. Ungi. I'm okay. I don't have any view as different from what earlier suggested, that we should have English and French together so that we can pull both, we can pull more participants from both, because when we are writing to them, we write both in English and French non-verbal for them to be part of this, to nominate, because when you talk about the panel discussion, we have Ministry of Education officials, so we don't separate in AUC. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. I think it's a good conclusion. So let us add West Africa or ECOWAS. And then, of course, there is the French element. I suppose that there are budgetary constraints, Dr. Yumiko, Dr. Hungi. Otherwise, I find it better to have one event with interpretation rather than organize two separate events. When we're celebrating World Teachers' Day, we can be together and have interpretation. I understand maybe there'll be pressure on the program because it means more speakers as well. Could that be something we can think about, or at least for the future if we cannot do it now? Or if it's possible now, then why not?
Can I come in?
Yes, please.
I think it's okay. There is not much budgetary implication internal because it's virtual meeting, apart from the translation. And I think AUC already are going to help us with the translation and translators, so interpreters. So there shouldn't be a big, I think I also agree that it's good to have it as one event. We are one Africa.
Exactly. So, okay, I think all of us agree. So we will then have to tweak, change a little bit, adapt the concept note to reflect that. And of course, the speakers will need to ensure some linguistic balance of some sort. Okay, I think that's good. Any other point, question, comment on the World Teachers' Day event? Please come in, just in case I cannot see your hand.
Hello.
Yes, please, go ahead. Please go ahead.
Thank you, and thanks, Teacher Development Cluster, for the update and also the progress that have been realized. I'm Moses Abiero from Africa Early Childhood Network, and I'm very happy to be part of this meeting. I just wanted a clarification in terms of whether a criteria for identifying the teachers have been developed, and if yes, how do we intend to identify one ECD teacher who will be part of this meeting? Thanks.
Thank you. Hongi?
Yeah, as I mentioned, this work started the other day. We have not developed a criteria for that, but in the past we have relied on members. For example, Afghan, where Moses Obiero come from, they are very active and they know the teachers who are involved in actively in classroom. We have relied on members to help us identify teachers or participants for the speakers to speak. So again, I think we shall still go through that kind of approach, and then we can have maybe 2 or 3 names, and then we can agree with on who to invite, something like that.
Thanks, Hongi. And you have Education International. We represent teachers who can help as well.
Okay. Perfect.
Yes. Yes. Any other comment, question? Please come in, colleagues.
May I come in, Dennis? Dr.
Yes.
Dennis Chair. Yes, this is Yumiko. I think it's an excellent idea to have one event with English and French, and the Portuguese and the Arabic is also the languages for official language for African Union, but depends on the budget. We might or might not include in the interpretation. Also, the other day, UNICEF Liaison Office, the African Union, showed interest in joining in World Teachers Day. So they might bring some resources. So I think this is a welcome move. That's all from me. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Yumiko. UNICEF are definitely welcome to join. In fact, they are part of the World Teachers Day partnership at global level. Okay, anybody else? I don't see any hands, but just in case you want to come in, please come in. Right, just to say from my side, concerning the involvement of the youth, which is the recommendation from FAWE, Education International fully supports that, we support that. In fact, I had a meeting just yesterday with the All Africa Students Union, All Africa Students Union, and they are planning something as young people actually. So they wanted to see if they could do it with us. Then I said, oh yeah, but ICPA and the African Union have taken this initiative. Probably it would be better rather than having different events to join. So it would be great if we could include them on the program. Just a few minutes, maybe 3 minutes or something like that, to say something in support of teachers. And then the second issue is the issue of the theme. We, of course, EI, previously in my role at head office, was directly in charge of World Teachers Day, among other issues. The process of finalizing the theme for 2021 has been delayed. Even before this call, I was in contact with colleagues at UNESCO headquarters to see if we can have the final version of the theme for 2021. We're still waiting for comments from one of the partners. But I don't anticipate that it will change. If it is okay, Dr. Hungi and colleagues, once we have the new theme, we can substitute the theme that we have now, which was the same as last year, with the new one. It will not change the content of the event because the focus is almost the same. In fact, the provisional formulation is, if I can just read it to you, I can type it in the chat later, is teachers wanted, then colon, reclaiming teaching and learning for a human-centered recovery. Teachers wanted, reclaiming teaching and learning for a human-centered recovery. So if you look at that formulation, I don't think it will change the focus of our event. If we agree in principle that when we get the final version, we substitute, I think we can have that as a conclusion, unless someone has a different opinion. Dr. Hungi?
I perfectly agree with you. And I'm happy that the theme is is still applicable to our sub-theme. So that is perfect. And also I'm happy that you already have some youth willing to join us that will enrich our event.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much. Colleagues, if there is nothing else, we can move ahead with our to the next agenda item, recruitment of champion country or countries. I suppose, Kasley, you lead us on this. Kasley, please.
Yes, thank you very much. I'm with you. I thank you, Dr. Ungi. Also, I got an email from Dr. Ungi that the last time we met, we deliberated on the champion country, and I mentioned 3 countries, Kenya, Nigeria, and Ghana, for consideration. And Dr. Ungi sent me yesterday to state some reasons why I mentioned those countries. So far, we've had 2 editions of African Union Continental Teachers Award, and we have gotten quite impressive works from nominated teachers from these countries. And in addition to that, there has been some programs in these countries that have helped to establish public teacher training colleges with improved quality instruction to better prepare the trainees for classroom challenges, such as students affected by HIV and other. We also, in Kenya, for example, there's what they call the Teacher Education and Professional Development. And they are very active. They have also helped to improve the skills of teachers. They have developed 1,600 to date, 1,600 primary teacher training college lecturers and 35,000 teacher trainees. So these are the what came to my mind that made me to mention Kenya. And one of the programs in one of these countries is they have the assistant teacher. They have assisted their teacher education regulation bodies to develop the teacher competency frameworks to enable the education system shift from isolated training interventions towards a more sustainable, harmonized and integrated system. There have been development of new teacher education materials and integrated assistant in-service materials to enhance child-centered learning, improve approaches to teaching multi-grades and large classes. For example, I will use Kenya again as an example. They've been sponsored programs that focuses on the training teachers in the child-centered learning through professional development programs. And to date, 23 public teachers training across Kenya, they have benefited from this. So there have also been considerable effort in integrating information and communication technology into teaching and learning. I've seen this in Nigeria, Ghana, and Kenya also, with the help of some some individuals, public and private partnerships. So we have a head of Microsoft, Cisco, USAID, and some respective government. I will also use Kenya again for a sample. This, we have heard of accelerated 21st century education, which is called the ACE. They have provided laptops, digital cameras, scanners, and printer wireless access points and other equipment to 23 schools and 3 colleges across Kenya. So these are the what I sum up to make me made that suggestion. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Kesley. Colleagues, there you are. There are the 3 countries. Let me just say, I said this to Hungi just before meeting. I don't think we should limit the number of champion countries to 1. It's good to have more member states participate in the teacher development cluster. So unless there is a strong reason why you would suggest we limit the number, I would say, why not have all the 3? Approach them. Who knows, maybe some will accept, or maybe all, and maybe not all of them. So if we end up with 1 or 2 or all of them, that will be a big plus. It's also possible that you may have other suggestions. So let's hear what you have to say. Those who would like to contribute. Anybody? I don't see a hand, but if you like to come in, please just come in. No? We then take it that the 3 countries that have been proposed are endorsed: Kenya, Nigeria, and Ghana. If you object, please say so. No? So what are the next steps, Kesley?
Excuse me. Excuse me.
Please come in.
Yeah, I would like to suggest that maybe we choose a country from each region. But now I'm seeing we are having Ghana and Nigeria from the same region. I don't know how others are seeing it. This is Gertrude.
Okay, thanks, Gertrude. That's an observation. Any comments, colleagues from others? You know, when we're thinking about champion countries, I was thinking, oh, Uganda has done so much on teachers, working with the teacher union as well, developing tools and instruments. It was a natural one for me. So if we adopt that principle, we may, we have a problem with Kenya and Uganda being at the same subject. Yeah, that is a problem. Anyway, let me suspend my proposal for now. Any comments?
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. I have a comment. We can, you just mentioned Uganda. We can also include Uganda because in the first Teachers Award we had, we got a very good credentials from Uganda. But what we can do is that we can write to them and see their responses. Because some of these countries, even they are good at what they do, when it comes to continental issues, they keep quiet. So we can write to them and see their reactions. And from there, we can also, even if they submit, if they nominate, we can also evaluate what they nominated, and we come up with the final candidate for the champion. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody else?
May I come in?
Please
just one issue. Stephen, you remember I participated in the teacher award scheme. Also, I discovered that there were quite a few from South Africa, which were very, very good for the awards. So I don't know whether South Africa can be included. That's what I want to ask.
Okay.
Yeah, may I come in?
Please do.
My hand is up. Yeah.
Please do.
As we would like to consider regional balance, I would also propose that we go by South Africa. We choose one from West Africa, one from East Africa, and another from South Africa. But what about other language speakers?
Okay, that's an important question. It's also a question about our future meetings. Will we provide interpretation? I assume, in fact, it's ideal that the champion country attends the meeting, or at least the focal point appointed by the government will be part of these meetings. So we will have to resolve the issue of interpretation as well, if we're thinking about other language groups, which is absolutely essential. Okay, anybody else?
And even regional balance.
Please come in, just in case I cannot see your hand.
Hello.
Right. Yes, I'm looking at the time. You are probably the last one this time, unless someone really feels they have to contribute. Yes, please.
Yeah, thanks. This is Moses again, but I think my concern had also been raised in terms of maybe ensuring that we address the language differences in terms of having both francophone and also the English-speaking country and the French-speaking countries, and to some extent also the Lusophone, so that in choosing champions, then we have a representative from across these countries. Otherwise, thanks. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Yes, so we'll have to resolve, like I said, the issue of interpretation, at least in French and maybe in Portuguese as well in future. Now, Hungi and Kasley would like to conclude on this matter. I don't see any harm in having a long list of countries. I'm aware that we've said we need to have more names from other sub-regions, original economic communities, and of course, linguistic groups. Hungi, do you want to give us direction on how we can proceed?
Okay, thank you, Chair. I think what members are talking about is very important, the regional balance. And also, I also like the fact that we are not inviting one, we can invite as many as, of course, ideally it would be good to have all members as part of the cluster, but not all of them can be champions. So I think we shall proceed. If Kasley agree, we can invite the three that have already been proposed, and maybe we could also add maybe South Africa and another one to balance the regions. And then we see what happens from there, depending on the kind of proposal they will give us. Kasley mentioned an important item there that you might invite and they don't even accept. So it's good we proceed accordingly, and of course, the more we have, the better. Over to you, Kasley.
Can you hear us?
Yes, thank you very much. You want me to give the update on the Ctmp?
Well, I think he was just confirming if you're okay with the conclusion that he gave.
Yes, sir. Yes, I'm okay, sir. I'm okay.
Okay, fine. So let's reach out to them and see how many respond. Okay, and then we still have the unfinished business of identifying more from the other sub-regions, particularly linguistic groups, which we actually we request you to help us do as you have been doing.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much, sir. I'll do that.
Please move ahead to the next item.
Okay, on the Ctmp, during the STC EST3 we had in 2019, the Ctmp submitted by the UNESCO IGBA was presented, and there was a conclusion that we should share with the AU member state for more comments. So which we have done, we share with them, and just only 4 countries responded. We have only 1 in West Africa, and we have more countries from Central Africa that responded. I'm going to share that with UNESCO, Dr. Ungi, for compilation, which we are still going to present during the STC. We are going to have an STC this year, probably by November. So I'm going to share with him their input for compilation, and we'll add it to the documents we are presenting during the STC for this year. Thank you very much. That is my updates on the Ctmp.
Okay.
Yes.
You have something else?
Yes, I also have a request from the African Union. We made a call for the 3rd edition of the Teachers Award, and so far we got 256 applications from 30 countries. And this the request was that each country should submit 2 teachers, 1 male and 1 female. But we got more applications from some countries like Egypt. Egypt submitted 94 applications. Mauritius submitted 49 applications. Kenya submitted 9. Madagascar submitted 8. Cape Verde submitted 6. Algeria submitted 11. Angola submitted 4. Botswana submitted 6. Burkina Faso 5, and so on. So we have been working on the eligibility to narrow it down. So far, we have gotten 41 applications that will be evaluated. And the members of this teachers development cluster, like we have the UNESCO, Dr. Yumiko, UNESCO IGBA. We have the ACA, Dr. Gertrude. We have the AFTRA, Dr. Steve. And we have IEA, Dr. Dennis, and we have CAFO, Dr. Lavali. So these are the members of the jury that we have been using since we started the Teachers Award. So we'll be sending letters regarding this for the evaluation. So that is our request that have been asked to present during this meeting. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. The request is well received. I believe all the colleagues that have been mentioned welcome the fact that we have such a high number of applications, and will be happy to contribute as usual to the selection process. Okay, we are running a little bit behind time, but let me check quickly if there is a short, brief question or comment. Please come in, colleagues. No. I would just say we hope that more countries will submit their comments. I don't know if the deadline is gone or it's still open. And certainly we might have missed maybe an email as Education International Africa. If for some reason we miss it, we hope we'll be given the opportunity to also submit comments to the draft. I hope it's okay, Dr. Yumiko. We can follow up outside the meeting. So colleagues, let's move on now to the updates from partners, from the members of the teacher cluster. Because of time, we only have 30 minutes left. I would request you to stick to 3 minutes maximum per institution or per organization. Remember that we said we're reporting on new things, further developments after our last meeting. Who would like to start?
I don't know, my colleague Kevin, are you ready for that? Of course, members, because of time, we would also appreciate, you can just highlight the key ones and then you can send whatever we have not mentioned to me and Kevin, and then we shall compile them together and share with everybody else. So I think that will work. Kevin, are you ready to give us more updates about Ikiba's work?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, thank you. So regarding the progress for ICBA's work, regarding the teacher professional development, ICBA has started to provide technical support and guidance to Djibouti in teacher policy development. ICBA also continues to support the teacher policy implementation in Mozambique. And the teacher policy of Burundi that was technically supported by ICBA has been given an initial approval, and they are currently developing a teacher motivation framework with technical support from ICBA. Another point is ICBA and TTF organized a virtual workshop on teacher policy development and they shared the various guides that are published by UNESCO. This happened in July. In July also, ICBA virtually met with ADEA to discuss the state of teacher motivation and support in Africa. Regarding peace and resilience building through teacher development, ICBA has trained 22 university instructors in Ethiopia from 10 universities on peace, resilience, and PVE. We also have trained 50 youth representatives and student councils from 5 Ethiopian universities on peace, resilience, and PVE. Sorry. Regarding the ICT integration in education training, ICBA has so far supported Zimbabwe to introduce the online distance learning for Teacher in Africa course in its distance learning programs. ICBA is also supporting Kenya in teacher training on the use of e-learning platforms. Another point is ICBA is supporting ECOWAS countries on capacity building for teachers, ministry officials, radio and TV personnel on distance learning. ICBA has developed modules in 3 UNESCO languages, English, French, and Portuguese. That is the update from our side. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Because of time constraints, we will move straight away to the next member. If you have questions, please type them in the chat. And then I would request those to whom the questions have been directed to also respond through the chat. Next member, please.
Yeah, may I speak from African Curriculum Association?
Please do.
Yeah, thank you so much. African Curriculum Association, in collaboration with the African Union, the Curriculum Cluster, and European Training Foundation, is carrying out a curriculum survey in all African countries, member countries, to establish the practices and processes in curriculum development with the idea behind of harmonizing curriculum development on the African continent. We expect to get the results by the end of September. However, we are having a challenge that some members are not responding the way we wanted them to respond to the questionnaires. And I call upon members who are present here and also members of the, maybe one of the groups I have mentioned, or if you have ever received any questionnaire from these members, I mean from our side, kindly take part, kindly take it as very serious and respond to the questionnaire, because that information is very important. It may not be important to only the curriculum cluster and African Curriculum Association, but also other members who wish to carry out research in the future. So we beg you kindly to pay attention to the questionnaire and also participate as anticipated. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Gertrude. We appreciate the important work that you are doing around the curriculum. Next partner, please, or member organization.
Yeah, CAFO.
CAFO, please.
Can I come in? Yeah, with CAFO, we have been working very much to enhance communication and social dialogue issues, in the work that we are doing, particularly when it comes to teacher development and capacity building. And we had one meeting, of course, with you, Dennis, Education International, and it was quite inconclusive because we still have some way to go, and we want to include also AFTRA in that, so that we could develop a concept, where we can enhance social dialogue in teacher development. The other thing that we have done is that we have been having brainstorming sessions with many of our members. And then we have developed 10 project concepts. One of them is on quality in teaching. And that focuses greatly on teacher training and teacher development. And certainly we would like to approach IGBA because one of our key partners also supports IGBA in teacher development. And we have these projects to be implemented in 10 countries around the continent. And IGBA is already doing a lot of work in some of those countries. But because of the reorientation these days with the COVID-19 and other things that concern digital technology, we are looking at, we are orienting our concept also to match with the current situation on the continent. And finally, I just want to say briefly that we also have been publicizing a number of events on the continent. One of the events we publicized recently was an event that took place in Nigeria with AFTRA, when with Professor Steve Nwachukwu officiating there, and when they actually conferred a fellowship and distinguished teacher status on Professor Florence Banku, the Vice Chancellor of the University of Calabar, Nigeria. That was quite a momentous event for us because we did a lot of publicity about it. It was published in the African Union website, published widely in the CAFO also network, and most of the communication specialists in those two networks, both with the African Union and with CAFO, were able to republish this in form of news items, whether short or long, or sometimes they publish the whole press release we produced together. So basically, we want to focus on these issues of communication, which we think is very, very important, because that is always sidelined, and communications is so important for people to know what is happening, also for partners, to expand partnerships and people to get interested in the work that we do in this CESA teacher development cluster. So thank you very much indeed for that.
Thank you so much, Comrade Cole. We appreciate the collaboration. I will also come back to some of the issues you have mentioned later, but let's hear from other partners.
Fawe?
Yes, Fawe, please.
All right, thank you, Hungi, and it's always a pleasure being around all of us who are technical experts on teacher development And just to mention what really has progressed from us as FAWE, we concluded the development of a school-related gender-based violence manual for educators, in this case, teachers and school administrators. And it's it's titled A Mirrored Approach to Ending School-Related Gender-Based Violence. The idea is to help teachers be able to address violence issues that end up leading to children drop out of school, and also affect their the learning outcomes of children and concentration as well, and also the retention and completion rates in schools. So we have been able to finalize on that manual, and in the coming days, we'll be able to publish it for all the education stakeholders to be able to pick it up and also circulate it to our schools and schools in countries where we operate from, to be able to empower the teachers in addressing school-related gender-based violence. The other thing is that we are continuing to roll out our gender-responsive pedagogy. We've had trainings happening in Zambia, specifically targeting districts and especially provincial and district educators, being able to gather the knowledge on how to address gender needs in the classroom and ultimately improve on learning outcomes for students. So for now, I think since the previous meeting, this is what has been going on. What is on the final stages is digitization of the gender responsive pedagogy with ICBA. And I believe in the next month, we'll begin with the rollout of this digitized GRP, and it will also be available, I think, to the cluster and anyone else who would like to access the GRP and learn more about how to address gender needs in and around the classroom. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much for the update from FAWE.
Afghan?
Yes. All right, Aftra,
please. Yes, please, go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much. Aftra has been upbeat, and I'll start from coming from Lawale and appreciate CAFO for a continental publicity they gave to the program that Aftra held, which is award of fellowships and distinguished status. As you know, part of the commitment of AFTRA is something like the Best Teachers Award by the AUC. We are doing everything we can to promote teachers and to highlight those that could serve as model. And, especially also if they are women that could encourage girl child education. That's why for the first time since the COVID, we organized a continent-wide event where a well-celebrated female vice chancellor in Nigeria was awarded with a distinguished status. And again, it is connected with the continental framework of competencies and standards that have been developed, which has created a career path for teachers. Most African countries are still at a crossroad on how to start categorizing their teachers according to distinguished or proficient or mentor, and all of that, which is required by the career path. And so part of what AFTRA is doing is engaging countries one-on-one in order to help them, decide what works within their own context. That's a form of contextualization. And where the circumstances permit, we do it like we did for the woman that was honored by picking distinguished people and highlighting their qualities as what could serve as benchmark for appointing teachers as distinguished, and the implication of this for the teaching profession. And then also within that context, we are extremely delighted that the African Union did what it should do. It has dropped the frameworks we developed, in the public domain, and has actually written to member states to commence implementation. This has to do with the Continental Framework of Standards and Competencies, the Teacher Qualification Framework, which is continental, and the Continental Guidelines. If you look at the Teacher Development Cluster, it is core to part of what we've been asking AUC to do. So if you Google or you check with member states, you find these 3 documents, which is really something that delighted us, which means it's now in the public domain, and AUC has officially requested member states to take steps towards implementing the framework of standards and competencies, and also the teacher qualification framework, as well as the guidelines. So we are working around this core issue. These 3 continental documents are called to after work. And an extension of the content of the continental guidelines is the establishment of teaching councils and enactment of acts or law in each country to say that teaching is a profession. Because until there is a law and until there is an agency, an institution to back up the fact that teaching is a profession, teaching will continue to be regarded as just a civil service job. And in that regard, we've worked with IGBA, assisting Uganda with the Uganda's Ministry of Education that are currently exploring the best way to set up their National Teaching Council. AFTRA has done that, is doing that with Namibia and several other countries towards establishing and making a law to establish teaching councils so that an agency could be charged with all of this. So quite a lot of other continental functions that AFTRA is following up, like Africa Continental Qualification Framework. AFTRA is in the advisory board, and a lot of progress is being made towards creating a continental qualification framework. Currently, only a few countries in Africa have agencies for national qualification framework. But Africa Continental Qualification Framework is working towards a continental framework, just like you have European qualification framework. And AFTRA has been part of that progress. At the UNESCO level, there is also, I said, for teacher education program. Sorry, I'm rounding up now, I don't want to overshoot. UNESCO Institute for Statistics had earlier, 2012, 2011, developed, I said, the one we know, International Standard Classification for Education. But now they thought it fit to develop one specifically for teacher education programs, global, so that whatever teacher education program could have a global framework for classifying it. So it's called, I said, teacher education programs, International Standard Classification for Teacher Education Programs. And AFTRA is in the technical advisory panel, working with UNESCO Institute for Statistics, developing this very important international framework for teacher education programs. So these are just a few out of many other collaborations. And we're also always in touch with IGBA, with Education International. These are like AFTRA CMS twins, and we exchange a lot of information. Lastly, AFTRA has decided that East Continental Conference and Roundtable will resume in May 2022. It hasn't held 2020 and 2021 because of COVID, but is resuming in May, to be hosted by Ghana, which was to host it in 2020 before COVID. A very important highlight is that the teacher development cluster will still be core to that conference, and all the teachers that have been awarded best teacher status by African Union will again be taken up by AFTRA in that program, because AFTRA is committed to taking any teacher that has won the African Union best teacher to the next level, exposing it further and trying to provide further incentives beyond the cash gift or other motivations that award will be given. So that conference and roundtable of AFTRA is being planned again to be both physical and virtual for 2022 in Ghana, and the Africa best teachers would feature prominently. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Professor Steve. We appreciate all the good work that you are doing, especially the development of frameworks. Any other, yes, partner? I see. Sorry?
Afghan.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Dennis. I'll be brief, maybe stemming from the status report of the teacher development cluster. I just want to report that childhood network through the ECED cluster held the cluster meeting, the fourth cluster meeting on 27th of July this year. And part of the outcome of the meeting was the adoption of the Africa Union ECE framework as a draft that is to be submitted to AUC technical committee for further review. So I just want to maybe provide update in terms of finalization of that document, which also looks at strengthening ECD workforce development. So I think immediately the document is filed through the AUC structures, then members will have a view of it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Before I come in, do we have any other organization that hasn't reported? No? Okay, from our side, Education International Africa has carried out a study. In fact, it was a commissioned study, which is looking at the impact of COVID-19 on education. In fact, it's a second study. Last year, we launched one on the same subject. We will be launching it potentially on the 29th of September. And on the same dates, we will be convening a webinar on the future of the teaching profession in Africa. And it's part of a series of webinars we have been holding for the last 4 years, jointly in collaboration with IGBA and with the Teacher Task Force, as well as Open Society Foundations. So planning is underway. We'll be reaching out to our partners so that we can concretize the planning. But those are the tentative dates, the 29th and 30th of September for the seminar. And then, of course, we've talked about World Teachers Day. We will be collaborating around this event. But in addition to that, EI is organizing an event on the same day to pay tribute to all the teachers we have lost during COVID-19. In fact, we've lost thousands of teachers in Africa and other parts of the world. So we will be inviting our partners. I was looking at the timing, it's okay, there's no clash for the two events, the EI event plus our joint event with the AUC and IGBA. So we'll be inviting you to that event. If you are able to join, that would be wonderful. And certainly to the seminar on the future of the teaching profession in Africa. I'll stop here for now, and I see a hand. Moses, I suppose it's the previous one. Any question or comment? I encouraged you to, and continue to encourage you to type your questions or comments. But just before we close or get to summarize the main decisions today, let me just check if there is a quick question or comment on any of the reports. No, I don't see any hand. Hungi, before we close, I would like to turn over to you. Yes, especially on the way forward. We have come up with a number of decisions, and we have more or less defined the way forward, but let's hear from you if you would like to say something.
Thank you, Chair. I think the way forward on the proposal for the World Teacher Day is for us to finalize and also include the youth in the proposal and all the other comments that have been suggested by members. We have it in record. We shall finalize that. We shall develop the next version and share with members for their comments. And also we shall be reaching out to members to help us get the speakers. And of course, EC will of course help us a lot with getting the policymakers into the meeting. So that is one. The champion country, the other way forward for that one is for us again with the EUC, to reach out to the countries that we have already suggested, and also look at the regional balancing and invite countries so that we see how they respond, and then we make a final decision on that. For the Continental Teacher Mobility Protocol, Catherine already mentioned the way forward. There is something he's going to share with us to compile together, and then we see how it comes. For the activities that we have mentioned for individual members, we will, of course, compile the report and we share with members to see that you have captured it correctly, and you can, of course, still add if there's something you have forgotten. This will be part of our progress report. I think that is the way forward. But back to you.
Thank you so much. That is appreciated. I've just heard from colleagues at UNESCO headquarters. They're saying the World Teachers' Day theme is going through the communications department and will be released either Friday or Monday next. So at least by then we should know what the theme is and substitute it. Okay, Dr. Yumiko, do you have anything to say? If you are still online?
Yes, I am online.
Yes, thank you so much.
No, thank you so much. This was a very informative and also very collegial meeting. So thank you very much, Dr. Denise, for chairing this so beautifully. And thank you very much, my colleague, Dr. Fungi and Kevin, for excellent preparation. And then finally, thank you so much for the participants for sharing a very interesting and also active contribution to the teacher development in Africa. I do believe this is a very, very active and good cluster group. So also I would like to thank the AU participation. We are with you all the time. So thank you very much. That's all from me. Back to you, Chair, Dr. Denise.
Thank you, thank you. So colleagues, I would like to take this opportunity to thank you all for your availability. I know how busy you are, but also for sharing with us the good work that you are doing around teachers in Africa, the curriculum, and other very important aspects, including communication, so that the work we are doing is known by governments, who are the primary actually stakeholder and provider of education in Africa and any other part of the world. So thank you for that, for your time, for your contributions, and a big thank you to IGBA. You always go an extra mile to help with the preparation, organization of the meetings, documents, and so on. Thank you, Dr. Yumiko. Thank you, Dr. Hungi, and the rest of the team. And a big thank you to the African Union. In reality, you are the custodian of education in Africa, and we are supporting you, and you are supporting us as educators and other partners. So we really appreciate your presence, we appreciate your leadership, we appreciate your support, and thanks AFTRA, because the work you are doing within the teacher cluster, but also your leadership is contributing to the development of education in Africa and certainly of the teaching profession. I wish I could mention everyone by name, but we don't have the time for that. So I just want to say thank you for today's meeting. We've made very concrete decisions. They'll be captured in the report which we'll receive. Please comment on that. And then let's keep implementing our programs and reviewing them. Hopefully in the last quarter of the year, we'll be able to achieve so much with the World Teachers' Day ahead of us and other very important activities. Otherwise, the meeting is now closed. We'll keep in touch virtually as always. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.